Addie. Can you hear me, Addie?
Yep, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, it's working, yay.
Yeah, you're the first one here, so we're going to wait a couple more minutes and see who else shows up.
Okay.
How's your week going?
It was wonderful, thank you.
Good. And what are you going to tonight?
Well, Magic Club, I am a member of a magic group that meets in Somerset once a week.
Oh, cool.
Not once a week, once a month, sorry.
What do you do at Magic Club?
There are like 5 members now. So I have my doves, so I'm going to take my doves and my dove box, and I'll do the first part of routine, and then the other people will perform.
Okay.
And then we discuss some type of magic related.
Cool. So where do you learn about the different magic tricks that you do?
We so I normally read them from books or look them up online.
Okay.
Kind of. And then Gary, Jody Jane, who are the magic instructors, also teach me.
Okay. Cool. What got you into doing magic?
I don't know.
So while you're the only one on here, do you have any questions about this week's work?
Yes. No, I had a very good time. Would you like to see them? I had them right here.
Yeah.
So, wait, let's see. The one that I did, she's rather scary looking. And it's probably How was your weekend? What did you do?
It was pretty good. Yeah, I spend most of my time teaching, and then Saturdays I work at the gallery. Um, yesterday my husband and I went hiking, and then I got really sick, so I didn't actually go to work today. I just got out of bed about a half an hour ago. Um, so it was fun up until I got sick. Excuse me.
Yes. We were at a music gathering, which was really, really, and
Oh, but it looks like you kind of froze on me. And now you
it
just,
looks like I'm freezing here,
there
and
you
I
go.
can't hear you.
You did freeze and I couldn't hear what you were saying, but now you're back.
Okay, you're back as well. 'Cause I lost you.
All right.
How's your dog?
She's good. Very good. She likes it when everyone's home on the weekends.
Yes, we're dog sitting, and the dog short stuff.
Yeah, we had my parents' dog for about 3 weeks this summer, which was a little bit crazy, but all right. Well, I don't know where everyone else is, but it's time to get started.
What type of dog?
It's a Shiba Inu, which is a Japanese hunting dog.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So you're the only one here at the moment, so we'll see if anybody else shows up. But since it's 5 o'clock and that's when we're supposed to start, and I know you have other things to do, we're just going to jump in. So a couple of things that I wanted to go over, which I'm actually going to flip, so you're not going to see me. And hopefully, if all goes well, you're going to see my computer screen. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we go. 1, 2. We only need 1.
Yes.
All right. Are you guys seeing my computer screen? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Just do your thing.
All right. I'm going to flip back to me for a second. Okay. So what I wanted to do is go over a couple of new things that I added on. So you should all be able to see my computer screen right now. And I made some adjustments to the rubric that we're going to use for grading based on kind of using it with looking at your work and then also using it with my AP class that I teach in person. Part of that rubric that the College Board designed is really made to go with looking and kind of assessing the whole portfolio as a whole. So some of it doesn't totally make sense, or I think is kind of confusing when we're looking at individual pieces. So I went and combined that rubric with a couple other rubrics that I usually use. So I just wanted to go over it with it really quickly because this is what I'll be using when I'm looking at your final pieces. So all of you turned in one finished piece from last week, and this is kind of what I'll be using when I'm going over that. So at the top, I reminded you of the drawing concepts and skills, and so these are the main things that are really important to the drawing portfolio. And then it's broken into categories, which I just haven't pulled images that I love yet. Is add some examples under each one of these categories. So decision making in terms of experimentation, risk taking, and or both, and you kind of can see that it falls 5 down through 2, giving you some more information as to what that actually looks like. As well as before you turn your work in, I highly recommend that you're kind of looking at this rubric while you're creating your work and kind of self-assessing yourself and looking where do you think you fall. Actually, in weeks to follow, I will start having you do more self-assessment because it's really a helpful practice to get into. So originality, imagination, and invention using the elements and principles of design and composition. So it can be hard sometimes when we're making art to try and make sure that we're coming up with something original. One, it might be original to us, but depending on what someone else has been exposed to, it might not be original to them. So some is really trying to push yourself and thinking of new ways that you can use the elements and principles. And we're going to keep getting more into those as we go along. Confident, evocative work that engages the viewer. So this again is really thinking about how you're using the drawing issues, the elements and principles together, that it looks like you have a clear thought, a clear vision that you're playing out in the piece. Looking at technical competence and skill with drawing materials and mediums, so really thinking about how you're using the mediums and are you using them properly. And then conveying student voice. So it's fairly similar category-wise, but I removed some of the categories and kind of edited some of them so that I think it makes a little bit more sense. All right, does that make sense to everyone? Questions about the rubric? And you can either talk or you should have a chat box that you're welcome to just type into if you want to do that instead. Does that sound good to everyone? So some of you have already, I've gotten your thumbnails, your critiques, and your one kind of finalized piece from last week. For the most part, I was telling Addie, I've been really sick this weekend, so I just got out of bed about a half an hour ago. But in and out of my nap time, I've been working on responding to all of your emails. And letting you know that I got it. I don't think I quite got through everyone yet. I'm adding the critiques that you guys did of each other's work into the PowerPoint. And once I get everyone's critique, I'll put that up on the website. So you're not only getting my critique, but you're also going to get a critique from your classmates. Those are looking awesome. You guys did a really great job with that. So that should be up on the site probably Tuesday or Wednesday so that you can see that. For your finalized pieces, I will be going through and I'm going to use the rubric that I just showed you to kind of go through a step-by-step assessment process. I don't know if I told you this before or not. With all of your projects, if you find that you got a score that you're not happy with, you are more than welcome and encouraged to redo it. So my goal in this class and really every class that I teach is for you to learn and for you to grow. And sometimes we have to redo things. So don't at all feel like if you get something back and you're really disappointed with the score, or you're worried about your grade, you're more than welcome to look at the feedback that I gave you and make adjustments to the piece and then resend it to me for another grade. As well as much as possible, I want you to go back in and kind of reworking your work when it can happen so that we're ending up with just all ultimately good pieces at the end. Does that make sense? Yeah?
Yeah.
Good? What else did I... Oh, I'm going to flip my screen again so that you guys can see my computer and show you something. Okay, so this I wanted to show you, and this you don't have to do, but Karina was having trouble emailing me her work so that I could actually open it. So last week she came up with this solution, which is really great, and I thought some of you might find it helpful. So she just created a Tumblr site, and so this is just an example from what she did this week. So she uploads all of her work onto her Tumblr site. So these all are her thumbnails and her finished piece, and then she just emails me the link to her Tumblr site. You do not have to do that at all. I just wanted to share that with you as another option. In case you were kind of like not loving how you were sending your work, that's another way to kind of organize things. As well as for her, it'll be a really great tool when she goes back. All of her work is kind of already in this one document that's easy to pull from. So that's an option if you want to play with it, but like I said, that's not at all required. RJ says Tumblr rocks. Yes, it does. What else did I want to make sure you saw today? Okay, I think that's all I needed to make sure you saw. So have all of you had a chance to look at the assignments for week 4? I want to see if anyone has any questions or needs clarification about what's going on. Everybody good, or haven't gotten to look at it yet? I'll just go over it real briefly, and you can stop me if you need help. So what we're going to be doing a lot over probably the next almost like 2 or 3 months is working on your concentration, but I will also be bringing in lessons and activities to help with your drawing skills, so that we're kind of switching back and forth. And all of the exercises will vary. So some of you may find some you've done them before, you're super comfortable. Some will maybe make you less comfortable. There's the potential out of the drawing exercises that some of that might also turn into breadth work, but the real goal of it is to be exposing you to some new, potentially new techniques and getting you to try new things. So as far as the exercises, so you'll see this week you're really focusing on experimenting with gesture drawing, and there are a lot of really short, fast drawings. So most of them are 2 to 5 minute drawings, and then there's one 30-minute drawing. Most of the time for the exercises, as far as grade-wise, you'll basically be getting points for just doing it, for trying it, because that's the main thing I want you to be working through and not being really stressed about it, just kind of going for it and doing it. And then you are creating your own schedule for how your concentration is going to happen. So the reason I decided to do that, at one point I was just going to set it up that you were kind of doing one piece every week or one piece every 2 weeks, and I decided to adjust and kind of let you set up your schedule, which there's a whole format that I sent you about that, because depending on your concentration idea, depending on what size you want your pieces to be, as well as sort of depending on your life, it's very possible that you're all going to be on a pretty different schedule. So I didn't want to make it so specific that you all had to be doing one piece a week. So there may be some weeks where you're working small and you don't have a lot going on and you'll get more done, another week where maybe you don't. So part of when you're working through that schedule, and you might want to sit down with your parents, because once you create your schedule, then those are like the due dates that I will hold you accountable for. But you may also want to chat with your parents and look at, you know, are there times that you're traveling? Are there times that other things are going on, so that you can actually fit that into your schedule? So what I ultimately did was give you a due date when your whole concentration needs to be done, and then a process for you to create a specific schedule for yourself that works for you and what you have going on. Does that make sense? Seem helpful to everyone? Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, sure.
So when you submit that to me, I'll kind of be plugging that into my calendar as far as your due dates go to work on holding you accountable to that. But I think that makes more sense kind of for everyone. So while we're working on the concentration, we'll be doing critiques, which this week I potentially was going to do a live critique, but I think I've only gotten like 2 people's finished pieces, so I'm going to hold that off and we'll do a live critique next week. And sort of you'll just be working on your concentrations and then doing drawing exercises that hopefully will help inform you for your concentration, as well as will start to lead into some of your breadth pieces. But all of your thumbnails thus far that I've seen are looking good, looking like you know your thoughts are clearly coming through in everything that you're doing. Do you want to see each other's concentration thumbnail sketches? Do you want me to share that with everybody?
Sure.
Yeah? Okay.
If anyone else is cool with that.
Okay, I will work on pulling people's thumbnails and stuff over the next couple of days. A lot of times I will be, probably every week, my goal is to be sharing your work with each other. Most of the times when I do critiques, I'm going to do sort of like I did the last one. I'll have different focuses each time when I do your critiques, so that, you know, I'm not making like a 3-hour long video. But most of the time it will be I'm talking about each one of your work, but I'll be sharing it with the whole class. So that's part of the reason I don't really use your names, just to make it a little bit more comfortable. But I think it's really helpful to see each other's work, as well as sometimes one thing that I'm saying about one person's work, I could really say about every person's work, so you can really learn from each other that way. As well as totally feel I don't mind at all. So if after you get the critique, if after you get the rubric back and you're still having questions or you still want help with something, at any point in time, just ask if you want a little bit more detail, or if you don't understand what I'm talking about or why I said something. Totally feel free just to ask me so that we can get that fixed. Cool? Good. All right, I think since I went over pretty much everything I needed to go over with you, and so since we're not doing a critique this week, but we will definitely do one next week. So next week, let me pull up my calendar so I can see what the date is. All right. So next week, the 22nd, our call is at 5, and we are going to do some like live critiquing. So I'm going to pull up people's artwork on my screen, and as a class, have you guys do some talking about it. So you did a great job in the written critiques, which we'll do some of those from time to time too, but we're going to do a live spoken one next week. So just so that you can plan. Next week's call will take a little bit longer, but I'm going to say we'll like 100% cut it off at 6 o'clock, so we won't go more than an hour. We'll get done what we can get done. If you have other things going on and you can't stay for the whole time, that's okay. We'll do the critique as the first part to make sure that if everybody can't stay on the whole call, they can be part of the critique. The second part will be a little bit of a review of that week's work and me asking questions, which you can all get in the video recording. So just kind of make a note for yourself that it'll take a little bit longer. And then while you're all here and I'm here, I will stay on and answer any questions you all have, and you can either see them or type "bless you," or type in the chat box and I will answer. Otherwise, you're free to go and make beautiful art.
Right, that sounds great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you guys.
I'm looking forward to another week of art.
Yeah, I always love getting all of your emails. That makes email checking really fun when I get to open it up and there's all kinds of fun artwork.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Addie's going off to magic camp. We should make her do a magic trick for us next week.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, put the pressure on her.
It's magic.
Submission, right?
Can you do a trick for us one week, Addie?
Okay.
Maybe it would have to be something that could capture the illusion on camera.
All right, well, you think about that. We'll have a magic show. Any other questions from the rest of you? All right. Well, it sounds like you're all good to go. So you will continue to get emails from me over the next few days about your work and where you are, and we will touch base next week unless you need me sooner.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That sounds great. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.
Okay. See ya.